Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today I'll be covering Captain America 319, published in 1986 by Marvel Comics. I really love this issue and I've wanted to cover it for a long time on the show. The tagline on the cover says it all. If Cap can't stop Scourge, every supervillain on this cover will die. And this is a cover that really pays off, folks. So let's dive in. Great splash page here. Let's go over our creative crew for this issue entitled Overkill. Mark Gruenwald, writer, and of course this is just at the very beginning of Gruenwald's epic run on the comic as writer and creative force behind Cap. Paul Neary is the rough penciler. Joe Sinnott's the finisher, and I love the Sinnott finishes on these Neary pencils in this story. Diana Albers is the letterer. Ken Fedorowicz is the colorist. Mike Carlin is the editor, and Jim Shooter's the editor-in-chief. That was sloppy. That whip missed striking me by at least 6 inches. Somebody's not in top form today. And Cap's not talking about himself here. Give it up, Black Lash. You're just not up to giving me a hard time today. Arrogant clown, I've whipped Iron Man. And you're not half the hero slam. What did I tell you, Black Lash? You think I say things just to hear myself talk? My hand, I can't feel anything. Can't make a fist, I take it you're ready to concede defeat? Yes, don't hit me. Wise decision. So Cap takes Black Lash into custody and asks him why he's in Cleveland. That's where this fight is taking place. And Cap says the entire country is now his domain in terms of enforcing the law. And Black Lash confesses to knocking over jewelry stores and other petty heists because he wants to get enough money to see that his mother is taken care of because there's a killer on the loose killing villains. Come on, man. You must know there's a mad killer on the loose gunning down high-profile costume criminals like me. I'm not one to scare easy. But when he offed my old buddy the Melder, that's when I knew not even I was safe. In Avengers 263. So this issue is going to be filled with references to previous issues of Scourge's victims. Listen, Black Lash, I'll look into what you've told me. You have my word on it. In the meantime, you should be safe in police custody. Meanwhile, Cap thinks to himself, someone's killed the Melder? I guess the authorities haven't discovered the body yet. I wonder if this killer he's talking about was the same one who made an attempt on the Constrictor's life a few months back. Scourge, he called himself. I never was able to get any leads on him. And of course, that was in Cap 311. So again, this issue will be full of references. And my favorite part of this issue right here, this is so awesome. At that moment, inside the secret headquarters of the elite band of mercenaries known as the Serpent Society, he's dead. Death Adder is dead. The boss, teleporting in. He didn't say what I thought he said, did he? Sidewinder, you found him? Where did you find him? Cobra and I combed the wreckage of his serpent saucer. We couldn't find a clue. I found him in the morgue. I can't believe this. Not Death Adder. Of all people, he was too quick, too slippery. Poor Roland. That's Death Adder's name, was Roland Burroughs. And this is so great. I love the Serpent Society. And this is kind of just Mark Gruenwald building these characters. And I've said it before on the show. I would have given so much to have Mark Gruenwald written, to have seen Mark Gruenwald and this time period write a Serpent Society limited series. It would have been great. Just get someone like Keith Pollard, Sal Buscema, someone like that has a command of the Marvel House style and go to town. It would have been awesome. Asp, what's going on here? I was on a solo mission, just got back. Sidewinder assigned Death Adder to take Princess Python back to the Circus of Crime for ransom. But his ship crashed in the South Bronx on the way. We've all been looking for him since. Of course, that happened in the previous issue, 318. Who could have done such a thing to him? I'll kill the son of a fish. I'll rip his face off. That's Anaconda. Love her. Blanche Dubois. That wound looks like it was caused by an explosive bullet. We must avenge him. Yes, Bushmaster, we must avenge Death Adder. No one can be permitted to strike at the Serpent Society with impunity. Effective immediately, drop all of your other assignments. Every one of you is assigned to hunt the vermin who did this and bring him or her back to me, dead or alive. With pleasure. You got it, man. Whoever did it is smoked meat. Go quickly, and please be careful. Every one of you is valuable, irreplaceable. Rest easy, old friend. You will be missed. You will be avenged. These are three-dimensional characters. Yes, there's costume supervillains, but again, Grunwald is masterful in his ability to make you care about these otherwise throwaway villainous characters. And it really reminds me a lot of the care Ostrander took later on in Suicide Squad to do the same thing for DC Comics. Elsewhere stands the Bar with No Name, a drinking establishment spoken of in whispers throughout the underworld. It is an out-of-the-way place with a very exclusive clientele. Those special individuals with criminal tendencies and extraordinary modus operandi, whom the tabloids call supervillains. You, Gary Gilbert? The bartender told us to talk to you. Yes, I'm Gilbert. You might have heard of me when I went by the name Firebrand. Oh yeah, you used to fight Iron Man, right? I'm Ramon DeRico, the Jaguar, and this is Helen Feliciano, Letha. So Gilbert, who is now an agent for supervillains, kind of a retired supervillain himself, he is keeping tabs on who's been killed. He has a literal scrapbook with newspaper clippings. So they're trying to figure out what to do. What are we supposed to do about it? That's just it. Nobody knows what to do. That's why I'm holding a mass meeting this Saturday night to discuss the crisis. I've invited everyone who's come by for the past month. I'm not the victim type, but I'll help you out. So, fateful words from Jaguar there. Meanwhile, Cap returns to his van, where he basically travels the country now when he's not on Avengers business, and is kitted out with modern computers. Also, a little side note here, he is the penciler of the Captain America comic, which I never liked that. I was not a fan of the fourth wall breaking kind of thing that represented for me. At one point earlier in the series, he goes to the Marvel offices. I think it's cool that he's a commercial artist. I don't know. I was never into the fact that he was a Captain America artist as Captain America. It was just too weird for me. But it's a minor quibble. Let's move on. Sure is great to have an understanding editor. Most people would probably go berserk letting an artist work for them who has no permanent address. Still, I do check in twice a week and I haven't missed a deadline yet. Aha, the Stars and Stripes finished their cross-referencing. My word, what a long list. The Enforcer, Miracle Man, Hate Monger, Megatak, The Melter, Titania, Basilisk. So the Stars and Stripes are Captain America's sort of teen brigade for the 80s, for the late 80s, because they are using the nascent World Wide Web computer network to gather data for Cap and give him leads regarding this Scourge problem that he's trying to investigate. Meanwhile, the insidious Serpent Society is way ahead of Captain America, interrogating suspects in Death Adder's murder and following up leads in their own inimitable way. These AIM boys could have resented Adder for killing their boss, MODOK. Come on, Ringmaster. Python didn't put you up to murder. No, I never murdered anybody. So here they are shaking down the circus of crime, roughing up AIM agents. Here is Black Mamba talking to Roland Burroughs, Death Adder's parents, to see if there's any leads. And here's the Rattler, and I'm not sure who this is in the background here, shaking up some of Kingpin's thugs for info. So really great. I love how the two investigations, Grunwald is kind of pivoting back and forth to them. Apologies for the weather, folks. We have a nice, good old-fashioned summer thunderstorm going on here in Pittsburgh, PA right now outside my windows. So a little bit of ambiance for this issue. But I digress. Let's move on. The Bar with No Name, early the next day. Well, Jake, so far I've spoken to about 100 super criminals. Here and at the other bars in the circuit, and I've gotten about 50 of them to promise to attend the meeting tomorrow night. I expect you'd better stock up on liquor. So they're getting ready for the big meeting. Meanwhile, Cap is pursuing yet another lead. A mental hospital somewhere in central Indiana. I'm sorry if I seem to be staring, sir. It's just, well, we don't get many celebrities here. Quite all right, miss. Now, if you could take me to see Greg Salinger. Of course, walk this way. So, Greg Salinger was the Fool Killer, and Cap is just running another lead down, basically trying to eliminate the fact that Fool Killer is not involved. He's a character who appeared several years before this in Defenders, and he was a killer of those he deemed unworthy, and it's obvious here that he's insane. Well, it was worth a try. Fool Killer was a vigilante who went about eliminating those he saw unfit to live, even as the criminal killer seems to be doing. I had to begin somewhere. What's that? I thought I saw someone dash around the corner of the building. What's this? A rope hanging from the roof? What if it belonged to the vigilante I'm looking for? What if he's here to kill the Fool Killer? Whoa! He's trying to pull the rope up after him. If I can give it a good jerk. Well, Captain America, what a pleasant surprise. I know you. You're one of the Serpent Society. That's right, I call myself Diamondback. And just what do you think you're doing here? One of my fellow serpents has been murdered. I'm out looking for the culprit. There's a fellow here. Fool Killer. Oh, you don't have to put me down. I was quite comfortable in your arms. You're here alone? That's right. Doesn't take more than one of us to check out a long shot like this. Say, what brings you here, handsome? It appears as if we're on the same trail, the same person. Oh, really? That's marvelous. Would you like to share information? And Cap's first thought, I don't trust this woman. So this is the beginning of a star-crossed romance between Captain America and Diamondback that will span dozens of issues and several years of this title. And it's awesome, and I'm totally in for it. Cap really hasn't had a love interest since Bernie Rosenthal at this point, so I love the Diamondback / Rachel Layton, Captain America / Steve Rogers romance, and this is the very beginnings of it, and it really does get off to a rocky start. I'm not accustomed to consorting with the enemy. Oh, Captain, I'm not your enemy. I may belong to a rival organization to the Avengers, I'll grant you that. But if I were truly your enemy, I would have nailed you with one of these babies. I had you dead to rights twice. Once in the shopping mall, and again at that construction site, and I did nothing. The construction site battle was the death of Porcupine, which was a very gripping issue I should cover on the show at some point. So that was issue 313 and 315. 315, I believe, is the death of Porcupine. Really, Captain, I'm not such a bad sort. Once you get to know me, I just had a very unhappy childhood. So Cap reluctantly agrees to work with her, and she's all the while coming on to him very strong. And we're going to flip quickly back to the bar with no name. Steady now, man. That's very delicate equipment you're carrying. You told us that 20 times already. So Gilbert has borrowed some stuff from the Tinkerer, retina scanning equipment, security equipment, so that they can't that Scourge will not be able to infiltrate their ranks on the night of the big meeting. And we'll get back to that. And back aboard the Serpent Saucer, I'd like to know a little something about the folks I work with. Sure, I'll lay my Playmate data sheet on you. I was a bit of a tomboy, had a bunch of brothers, always had to prove I could keep up with them. So she relates her origin story, which is one of privation that basically led to a life of petty crime, which graduated up to some more serious offenses. I dropped out of high school, never picked up many skills except as a con artist and a pickpocket. My brother Danny introduced me to a friend of his named Pete, who made me my first set of simulated diamonds. And I wonder if this is Paste Pot Pete. I don't know if it's the Trapster or not. I won't tell you what I gave Pete in exchange. So a little saucy there from Diamondback. Anyway, I got pretty darned good at throwing those things, and I decided to make a go of it as a costumed crusader. I admit I did a shady thing or two, but hey, a gal's got to make a living. When Signwinder invited me to join the Serpent Society, it was the best offer I had, so I took it. I'm really not a bad person, Cap. I just never had any good influences on my life. So she basically makes a very forward overture to him here. And I do love this Polinieri Josin on artwork. This is just so solidly in the Marvel Copper Age in terms of its style and presentation. I love it. So she gets frustrated by Cap's refusal of her offer of some extracurricular activity. So she literally powers the flying ship down, throws the key down her costume, and issues Cap an ultimatum. You'd better decide quick, handsome. In about 15 seconds, I won't have time to dig for the key myself and pull us out of the plunge. 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7. My decision is no deal. I don't believe you're willing to throw away your life on something so fleeting as a few moments' pleasure. You cold fish. Click, kaboom. I don't think I can trust you enough to work with you after that little stunt, Diamondback. We'd better call it quits right here. What? So Cap's about to bail out. He remembers that AIM saucers, which is what this model is based upon, have a chute in this compartment, so he's ready to bail out, and Diamondback frustratedly says, I'll just land us. Captain, wait. I'm sorry my desire for you made me act so foolish. It won't happen again, I promise you. Look, if you agree to work with me on this, I promise I'll not only keep my hands to myself, I'll even tell you the whereabouts of the Serpent Society's headquarters. Sorry, I only work with people I can trust. Oh, what should I do? Cap, wait! Great panel of her running after him. I do love the saucer here. It would be awesome to see that for the tabletop in 28 millimeter. It would be so cool. Cap! What a sprinter. I can barely make him out all the way down the road. Cap! What is all this along the side of the road? Corn? Wheat? It's tall, whatever it is. Cap! Blam! Oh! A gunshot. Coming from behind me, where Diamondback is. Could it be the villain killer gunning for her? So dark, can't pinpoint where the shots are coming from. The gunfire stopped, I think. Yes, here, someone running away between these rows of corn. Great sequence here, I love this. I'm closing in on him. There he is. Another few yards in, I'll have him. Hold it, you. Oh, they got me. The guy who attempted to kill the constrictor wore a latex mask. Now to see who... Wait, what are you going to do to me? Stop tearing at my face. This man is not wearing a mask. I think he really is what he appears to be, a farmer. Hey, you ain't no Martian. You're the New York hero, Captain America. I'm really sorry, Captain. I didn't know it was you. Diamondback, how are you doing? I know I don't have much life left in me, Cap. Please, grant a dying woman's last request. Kiss me. You're not dying, Diamondback. The farmer's buckshot tore up your arm and shoulder a bit, but it didn't hit anything vital. Mr. Hagar, if you could fetch your truck, we can drive this woman to the nearest hospital. Be right back. You are impossible, you know that? Saturday night at the bar with no name. What do you call yourself? The gay 90s man? Ha ha. Hey, you're the Birdman, ain't you? I heard you was dead. No, you must be thinking of my cohorts, Ape Man and Cat Man. I went one-on-one with She-Hulk. How about you? So the villains are arriving at the bar. There's some more repartee back and forth between them. Great house ad here for these issues that were also coming out this month. Wow, are there ever a lot of big timers here? Ringer, you're running with a fast crowd now. And of course, he says that, and the head of the Ringer is Steeplejack, who I love his costume and gimmick, but I would not consider him a big timer. Steeplejack, you'll have to remove your rivet gun before. That's no fair. Some of these jerks have built-in powers, which you can't check at the door. I know, but since the killer packs a piece, we can't allow any in here. Garçon, a Chateau Lafitte Rothschild, 29, please. That's Cyclone, the speedster, really cool. I love that villain. Ringer, did you see anybody else out in the lot? No, siree. I didn't. I was the end of the line. I'm a bit disappointed, Jake. I was expecting 50 or so people, but so far there's less than 20 here. It's a crime, Gary. I'll see how long I can stall everyone. Give time for latecomers to arrive. But Hey, Gilbert, we ain't got all night. Let's get this show on the road. And 6 minutes later, Gary Gilbert calls roll call. Steeplejack, Shell Shock, Cyclone, Mindwave, Ringer, Hellraiser, The Grappler, Rapier, Mirage, Jaguar, The Vamp, Birdman, The Cheetah, Commander Kraken, The Hijacker, Letha. So there we have it, folks, our lineup. Okay, you all know we're here, why we're here. Somebody is trying to kill us. He or she is a master of disguise, has a great amount of data about our backgrounds and our every movement, and carries a gun that shoots armor-piercing explosive bullets. Victims to date have included the Enforcer, the Wraith, Death Adder, the Fly, the Melter. My word, so many, and such powerful chaps at that. And the latest victim was a fellow I invited to the very meeting a few weeks back, the Blue Streak. The profile of the typical victim is this: someone who's encountered a superhero at least once, been convicted for some crime or other, and uses unusual weapons or powers. That description fits everyone here, myself included. So the question is, how are we going to protect ourselves? How are we going to stop this scourge of the underworld? Let's put $1 million reward. Challenge him to a duel. Let's all go into hiding. Let's ask the Avengers to protect us. Let's kill all superheroes. Then we're sure to get the one who's doing this to us. How about calling in S.H.I.E.L.D.? Gentlemen, ladies, please. Let's not all talk at once. Let's take each of your suggestions one at a time and debate the pros and cons. Say, Gary, may I make a suggestion? You could all eat lead and die. Pum, 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 pum. Dead, all 18 of them. Justice is served. Next, Cap versus Scourge. So, in a heartbeat, Scourge takes out 19 super criminals in one go at the bar with no name. Pretty great. Now, in the letters page, American Graffiti, writer Mark Grunwald lists all the victims of Scourge to this point, and there's 29 of them. Enforcer, Miracle Man, Hate Monger 3, Megattack, Melter, Titania, Basilisk, Human Fly, Death Adder, Blue Streak, The Wraith, and then all the victims we just saw. So a tremendous list of, I would say, D and C level Marvel villains. There probably aren't even any B level villains here. I would put someone like maybe Whiplash in that category, and or Blacklash, who appeared earlier in this issue. But yeah, incredible. I mean, the Scourge storyline ran through so many different books, as evidenced by all the references in this issue to various other comics that were being published up to this point. Really an amazing story, a fun story, and with a pretty cool wrap-up that takes a while. I think it even goes into the pages of Thunderbolts in the late 80s, early 90s. And I think Scourge was multiple people, part of a larger organization, but the particular Scourge who takes out most of the villains in the Grunwald stories, I think is one particular agent of that organization. But yeah, great issue. I've been wanting to get it on the show for a long time. Finally did. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe. Tell your friends. I'll bring you more soon on Scott Reads Comics. Thanks for watching.